Try to read this up. So we had a clear majority of English students, so we've been talking about that a little bit. One of the things that were noted was that sometimes English students aren't allowed to use sources from outside the academic sphere if they want to do research into minority writers, for instance. And we think that there should be a demand for the opportunity to use the bigger variety of sources for theses, for instance. Then another thing was that there weren't any teachers actually who had the expertise to supervise students in such projects about minorities and stuff. So maybe there should be a call for teachers from a more diverse background. One of the things we actually talked about in relation to the fact that we started out discussing the English bachelor or master was that in what sense are these questions also relevant for beta faculties? So for instance, maybe if you're talking about post-colonialism or something, then of course it's relevant to have the expertise to maybe discuss more non-Western sources. Also in philosophy, this is done actually at the UFAM. But if you're studying math, in what sense is it relevant, to discuss diversity and everything? So I think that's something maybe which should be discussed at a more broader level today here. Right. One of the things we talked about as well was about the origin of the lack of diversity. So we had the feeling that it was not necessarily only the problem that not necessarily the problem that there are like thousands of minority students wanting to get into INFA but being dismissed because of being a minority. So we talked about the fact that in high school, but probably even already in primary schools, changes have to be made. And it's probably maybe not necessarily here now the time to discuss that, but it's
starts earlier in the curriculum of
yes. Right. But maybe the university could contribute to having programs already in primary school or
community development programs with students in communities in various areas in Amsterdam.
For instance, and one thing that I personally brought up was that as a student supervisor, I also experienced that many non-Western students have a certain sort of lack of confidence, which also inhibits them to perform at the level that they actually could if they would feel more confident about their knowledge and the things they know. And I was just thinking that this is also something, I think it's a really important problem actually, because it causes many, as I said, like many, it inhibits them. So I think this is also partly a problem that is sort of self-caused in the sense that, it's also important for I think people to think about the ways in which people inhibit themselves by sort of buying into certain ideas about themselves, which
they are internalizing perhaps prejudice that exists about themselves, which hampers them a good performance, sort of.
Possibly, but I could also, well, I'm not sure about this,
but it's a very important element as well for them to perform. Okay. Thank you.